So you're looking to purchase your own property and you would like to have a little bit of help on the money issue. So you've reached out to a bank and they've offered you a mortgage. You've seen the conditions, they seem quite reasonable, but you're wondering, this mortgage, it has hidden costs. There's going to be something extra that's going to come out of my own pocket. How much is going to be? Well, let's discover it in this video. The first thing that you have to take into account, although it's quite evident, is that you're going to have to pay the purchase price of the property minus the amount that the bank is going to lend you, right? So if you are buying a house for 300,000 euros and the bank is going to give you 100,000, then the remaining 200,000, you have to pay it yourself. That is absolutely fine. You have to take into account, that's evident. The next thing that you have to bear in mind is that the bank is going to give you a series of expenses. The first one is going to be the evaluation. The evaluation is performed by a professional evaluator that comes with a company not linked to the bank, although it's common that they do suggest it. There's a list of registered companies that can do evaluations for banks, so one of them. The cost is going to range between 350, 450 euros thereabouts. It depends, really, the size of the property, the kind of property that it is, and so on and so on. Besides that expense, there is something called the mortgage setup fee. Not all banks, not all mortgages have this one, but it is quite common, so it's worth mentioning. That's going to be between 1.5% of the amount that you are being lent by the bank, the amount that you're borrowing. That's a one-time payment. Besides that, the next big point would be the insurance. You will have to have a house insurance hired with the bank for the first year. The subsequent years you can choose to change companies if you want. We always recommend to shop around. And also your offer will include the condition for you to hire a life insurance with the bank. This life insurance can have quarterly payments, twice a year payments or yearly payments, but it's becoming quite of a fad to having an offer that includes paying the whole life insurance in one go. So let's spend a little bit more time explaining this. For example, you are buying a property with a mortgage for 20 years. So you'll have to make 20 yearly payments or quarterly payments for 20 years and so on. But the bank tells you, no, instead of doing that, you pay the whole 20 years in one go. But they give you a better rate because the life insurance the cost is going to increase over time as you get older, and then your life expectancy is closer to its end. But the problem with these is that the bank is going to lend you the money for those 20 years, 25,000 euros. So if you're borrowing 100,000 euros, you are now in fact borrowing 120 or 125, but you're only seeing 100,000. The other 25 from the life insurance, the bank lends that amount to you, but they take it back and they pay for those full 20 years in one go. They do say it's more advantageous, it's better for you, but I'm not quite sure. I do believe that requires a case-by-case analysis. Besides those expenses for the insurances, you also have the deed managing company, commonly called the gestoria, right? So these are companies that work for the banks that are going to do the management of the deed once you sign it. So once you sign the purchase deed, they'll take it, they'll pay the notary, they'll pay the tax, they'll take it to the land registry, they'll register it, and they'll deliver it back to the bank. And then you can request your deed from your branch. Those are between 350, 450, 500 euros thereabouts, and of course it will come out of your own pocket. You cannot appoint a different company or your solicitor to do this management of the deed. The bank will insist on their company as a condition for the mortgage. Besides that, there's the standard costs of purchasing a property, which will be the applicable tax, property transfer tax or VAT if it's a new build, plus notary fees and land registry fees, of course. But all of that exclusively for the purchase deed, right? There was a law modification a few years ago, kind of, and now the bank do pay for their own taxes for the mortgage. So the bank will pay for the stamp duty tax for the mortgage, the notary fees, land registry fees are their own gestoria, this management company for the deed, for the mortgage. To summarize, you pay the costs for the purchase deed and the bank pays the costs for the mortgage deed to be registered. And that now is separate, which of course is a good thing. Overall, you will be spending between 2 and 3% extra from the purchase price on these extra costs. Bear in mind that means that your purchase will be in fact more expensive, and that is not to take into account that you are paying interest on the amount that you're borrowing. But in fact, on the moment that you purchase, of course, you will be paying less money as you are borrowing a nice amount out of the bank. In overall, it's a thing to consider. If you have questions, doubts, or you have inquiries regarding these mortgage conditions, mortgage costs, the mortgage proceeding, interest rates, currency in Spain, and any other questions related to a purchase, please do not hesitate to contact us.